What was the second man looking at as they were on the cross? In the natural, he was looking at the same things. He saw Jesus on the cross. He saw those around him accusing him and mocking him. He saw Jesus hanging there. From all accounts, from what he could see, it did not look like Jesus was able to save anybody. It looked very much the same from his point of view in the natural. But when we hear his words, we have to ask the question, what did he focus on? He looks to the other criminal and says, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Okay, him recognizing that Jesus had done nothing wrong, that's important. But what I want to suggest here tonight is that although he was looking at the exact same situation, although he was one of 3 people on earth at that moment that knew what it was like to be hanging from a cross, although he was one of just a few who were present at that time of history, he saw something different. It's hard to say exactly what he saw. The Bible doesn't tell us. But do you want to know how I know that he saw something different? It's because of the words that came next. He said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Do you know that in the moment, in the exact same situation as the other man on the cross and all that were there, he saw something about Jesus that led him to believe that Jesus was not just a man, that he was his Savior, and that if he put his trust in him, no matter what the rest of his life had looked like up to that moment, that in that moment, if he cried out to Jesus as the Savior, that Jesus was going to redeem him. How beautiful is this moment in time for this man who led a life that he very well would have been ashamed of. The decisions that he made that would have caused him to have brokenness in his life. And yet in that moment, he saw Jesus as the King. And the results were astounding. Because Jesus looks at him and says, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Can I tell you today that the reality that we see in the midst of what we are going through makes all the difference? The things that we are looking at and paying attention to in the midst of the trial, in the midst of the difficulty, in the midst of the circumstance, that the reality that we focus on is the thing that is going to determine where our heart is, where our hope is, and what the outcome of that situation is going to be.